we're here with our third participant in our Strengthened Stories series, Jakob Bouse. Welcome, Jacob.
Thank you so much for having me. Much appreciated. How's it going, everyone? Great to see you guys.
Yeah, okay, well, I'm Grace.
I'm Brooklyn.
And yeah, so we'll just get started, I guess. Yeah. So, first of all, we're just wondering if you could share a bit about your journey with brain cancer and how it all began.
Absolutely. So my story starts around 10 years ago, give or take. I'm a grade 6 student, going to school in Ottawa, playing hockey, spending time with friends, working hard in class, all that stuff. Everything a kid of that age should be doing. Mm-hmm. When I started to develop some symptoms. Now, they weren't too bad early on, but over the course of about a year, they got progressively worse, eating into more and more parts of my life. And it was things like tremors, loss of strength, loss of balance, headaches, nausea, all that kind of stuff, which are symptoms for 1,000 different things. Mm-hmm. And they were slowly making life very difficult to live. So we knew that something was up. And so on March 21st, 2015, I got an MRI in Ottawa and they found a brain tumor. Oh. And obviously that was like huge surprise to my family and I, but we knew that with the support of family and friends, we'd be able to get through it together. And 4 days later, I was rushed into a big emergency brain surgery. But due to the location, they weren't able to take it out. They were able to essentially do an alternate flow void for some of the spinal fluid going around to relieve some of the symptoms, which was fantastic, getting back to a slightly more normal way of life. But after the surgery, the tumor is still there. You got to do something about it. So in the spring of my grade 6 year, I started a 70-week chemotherapy protocol, like 70. Wow. And so every Friday, I'd go into CHEO, get my little dose of vinblastine, and then try to function like a normal, 11-year-old for the rest of the day. And that year and a half taught me everything I know about life, from gratitude and appreciation, all that stuff. But yeah, and then since then, the tumor is still there. It's been stable, which is good. I've been doing regular checkups every 6 months or so to keep an eye on things. There have been a lot of, ups and downs in terms of, like, with wondering if we're going to have to go back into treatment, radiation surgery again, which is a scary prospect, but it puts a lot of things into perspective, which is really nice. So at the end of the day, we're making it work, and we're having the chance to do a lot of incredible stuff, like coming to Relay for Life events and connect with so many wonderful people. So that's been my story up till now, and looking forward to whatever comes next.
Wow, that's so much for someone in grade 6 to take on. Like, how did your friends sort of perceive you, or how did you feel during that time with your friendships?
It was so that before the diagnosis, it was really difficult because we just didn't know what was happening. Mm-hmm. Like, it got to the point where my writing was entirely illegible because of tremors. I was playing hockey at the time. I was losing a lot of strength, so I couldn't play to the level that I would have liked to. Mm-hmm. And so there were a lot of little things slowly eating away. When the diagnosis came, it was actually on the weekend of a tournament that I had to miss out on because I was going in for surgery. And, I let my friends know, my team and my buddies back at school. And the outpouring of love and support unconditionally from, like, everyone in my community, from teammates to neighbors to classmates, whatever, was like, I'll think about it every now and then. It'll cross my mind, and I still choke up. Aww. To this day thinking about that. My team, I'll put my number on their sticks to, like, we're playing for you, man, type of thing.
So
actually,
David,
the guy, was one of those people that put it on a stick before he knew me, which was kind of cool.
Wow.
Just a little tidbit. you can cut that, Emily.
No,
shout out, we appreciate you.
Don't cut it, Emily.
But yeah, so that, and then my teacher at the time, who had heard about that, got the whole class to, like, send cards of well wishes to. Like, coming out of surgery, which, like, that 4-day span from March 21st to the 25th was, it felt like a dream. It was something entirely foreign. We're plunged headfirst into this medical world, this journey that's lasted the past 10 years now. And so coming out of surgery and having that reminder that support and those people are like there, fighting through it with me was unbelievable. It was super meaningful. To this day, I have on my desk, I have a team photo of my teammates all with their sticks with the number 2, and they have my jersey held up.
That's so
And
incredible.
so
That's great.
shout out to those guys, absolutely wonderful people.
Wow.
But yeah, so they're just, and then since then with people, coming to chemo with me when I would go to the hospital, or even just talking about it, like, because there are still a lot of stressful times, and it's always it's tough to cope with a lot of the time. So having the chance to reach out to people and have that support system, like, that's how you get through stuff like this. Like,
Yeah.
it's the people around you at the end of the day, for sure.
Wow, that was really well said.
It
I think
was.
so.
Yeah, and the support you got, that's just so special, and not a lot of, and it's rare sometimes. So I'm so happy to hear that you had that.
Thank you. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm infinitely thankful for all that. Yeah.
Yeah, so speaking of like your family and the support you got, and then like recovery and coping with it every day, what were like some of the significant challenges you had, like through the diagnosis, through recovery, and then how did that like impact you personally and your family and friends?
That's an awesome question. And there's a lot to explore with that, because there's both the medical side and like the psychological side as well, and like the mental health side, because it's very much like a 2-pronged battle. Like you're fighting both at the same time. So like at the time when I was on chemo, my goal was to live as normal of a life as possible at that time. I'm like, you know what? Screw it. Everything that I've been doing, I'm gonna keep doing.
Wow.
Like to as much as I possibly can, keep up with sports and school and social things and whatever else. And so like I would wrap up treatment, and then I'd like drive straight from the hospital to a tournament.
Oh.
And it was crazy and super hectic, and my team was aware of the situation, and they were incredibly supportive of it. But it was that kind of thing of the proving to myself, like, okay, you know what, we're going through this difficult time, but we're working through it, and we're able to manage and fight this and still make the most out of every single day. Since then, the medical stuff, there's still some symptoms here and there, which, it's been a decade now, so coping with them has been very much a regular part of life. But the mental health side of things is also something very real to cope with, because like, obviously when you're 10 years old, you don't know how to cope with like a brain tumor diagnosis, like, and so like undergoing chemo and surgery and all that stuff at that time, I realized now that I didn't fully process it. And so I'm still working through a lot of, deep-seated feelings and emotions and such. So, therapy, chatting it up, pouring my heart out type of thing, which is just the absolute best.
Totally.
So many great tears and like, breakthroughs and all that stuff. But it's been a long journey of, working through a lot of that stuff, because this, with the, recent, the scans and such, where we're keeping an eye on it, and that possibility of having to go back into treatment. There's a lot of that of stresses pertaining to that, and that recently brought out a lot of the trauma from before.
Totally, of course.
And so anyway, it's working with the people around me and trying to work through these really weird and funky experiences in whichever way I possibly can. So yeah, that's how we've been working through it as of yet, and it's been going all right. So.
Wow. Are there any lessons or insights you've learned so far with your journey?
Absolutely. Yeah, I think this, to be honest, that the whole journey has taught me pretty much everything I know about life and how I approach day-to-day challenges and conundrums that I face on a daily basis. And I think the biggest one is that idea of like gratitude, appreciation, and making the most out of every day, and acknowledging the little things in life. because, when you're on chemo, there's a lot of really difficult times, whether it be the stress or the medical situation or just worrying about what your life is going to look like. And so in an instance like that, in a situation like that, I made it a priority to like find small things on a day-to-day basis that like brought me joy. And even like a little bit of joy, a little hit of dopamine, serotonin, whatever else, something that made me smile from each day, and that brought a lot of joy to my life. And it was anything from like, I'd wrap up chemo and I'd throw the frisbee in the little grass patch outside Chia with my dad for a little bit, and it was wonderful. And we'd go to Whole Foods afterwards and we'd get the 4 cheese pizza there, which like super good, by the way. It was so it's things like that where we're making an effort to acknowledge the little things in life that bring you joy, inspired in large part by a book that I read called The Book of Awesome by a guy named Neil Pasricha, which wonderful book, but it talks about that in length, and that idea of finding little things in life has very much carried through since that journey, and just finding an appreciation for like the more mundane, average things in life that bring you even a little bit of joy. So actually, in that during treatment days, I started like a note on my phone that was cool things from each day.
Oh my gosh,
and
that's
I was like,
really nice.
Yeah, that's such a great idea.
Yeah.
Grace, 100%. I like, I would add a couple of things from each day, and it got to the point where like I would write like now I'll write like 500 to 700 words a day, like just of like cool things that happened that day.
That's awesome.
Because like training the brain to like acknowledge cool stuff
and appreciate them more than sort of just looking past it, like you said, the more mundane things.
Yeah.
Totally.
So like, we went to the concert last night and we got out of the show, and it was like a blizzard. It was snowing and freezing cold. But like it felt like a snow globe, and it was beautiful outside. It was beautiful.
So
that's
that
a great
made
way
the
to look
list.
at that.
That made the list. 100% that made the list.
Post-carnelian snow globe.
Exactly, post-carnelian snow globe. Shout out. But yeah, so that like that concept of appreciation has that helped me during some of my most difficult times during treatment, and that continues to help me during some of my most difficult times now. And so 100% as the biggest lesson I've learned from this whole journey is that gratitude, just being grateful for small things in life, and making an effort to acknowledge small things that bring you joy. So yeah, that's
such
really
an impactful
impressive.
mindset. Yeah, for sure.
Thanks, y'all.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
So kind of going off like gratitude and like community, how has your experience with Relay for Life shaped how you view like community and the importance of community support?
Oh my goodness, I could talk y'all's ear off about this. Relay for Life is such an important event for that reason, because of the way that it brings people together. Like, the way I see it as a survivor, like a lot of the time when you're fighting, it feels like a solitary battle.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because you have a support system, but at the end of the day, it feels like you're fighting alone sometimes, which is a really difficult feeling to go through.
Can't even imagine.
And so an event like Relay for Life, bringing together hundreds of people to support this cause, it's difficult to put into words how meaningful that is for folks going through that kind of a journey. My first time doing Relay was back in high school, and I'd never experienced something like that before in my life. It was 500-600 people out in the schoolyard, whatever else, and like just being in that kind of an atmosphere where it's hundreds of people here to have a wonderful time, celebrate this incredible cause, and to look after each other.
Yeah.
And like, and that also applies to people that have loved ones and friends that have gone through this kind of a thing, because it can be really difficult to talk about sometimes. Like it's difficult emotions, and having the chance to come to Relay and be super emotionally honest and talk about this kind of stuff and do the luminary lap where you're celebrating the people, you know, that were close to your heart, that have fought this battle. And it's that celebration of a beautiful cause together, a beautiful cause that is so close to so many people's hearts. So it's Relay has been so meaningful to me personally from a community standpoint, being able to meet people that have gone through similar journeys and have the chance to connect with these folks, and also just have the chance to attend an event where there's so much love for this cause that's so close to my heart, and the hearts of so many people just like me. So I love Relay from the bottom of my heart, and I'm so excited to be at Queen's Relay March 21st. Be there. It's gonna be awesome.
You mentioned like the energy and the sort of like momentum that Relay brings and how it's super impactful, and I think it's like for us as people who haven't gone through experiences personally with cancer and how we still find it so impactful, like I can't imagine the feeling. So it's nice to hear that you also have that same positive takeaway from it.
Yeah, and I'm happy that we can be a part of making that seem like a little bit less of a solitary journey for you and other survivors, and that it's awesome to see a bunch of strangers come together and support one another. It's
oh my goodness,
a very unique experience, I think.
Yeah.
Absolutely. My favorite thing, if we can continue on this for
Totally.
Yeah.
Shut it down. It's the idea of so the Luminary Lab. The way that my teacher back in high school, the guy who was organized, Mr. Scott Sims, who's fantastic teacher and great guy, he branded Relay as a party with a purpose.
I love that.
I love that perspective, because at the end of the day, like we're you know, hundreds of people celebrating together, having a incredible time, wonderful experience, and getting to share these magical memories together. But at the end of the day, we're here to support this cause. And my favorite showing of that is the Luminary Lab, where you're doing that, and like, you know, the whole thing is a big party, and then the Luminary Lab reminds you of why we're all there. And the one that I've having the chance to have done that back in high school and then now in university, I mean, there's not a dry eye in the building. Like it's such a beautiful showing of like emotional honesty and connection, like people, because at the end of the day, like everyone has been touched by cancer in one way, shape, or form, whether it be family or friends or personally. So having the chance to, you know, to let those feelings out is infinitely impactful, and Relay brings together such an incredible group of people. So I'm so fired up.
Oh, that's great.
Us too.
I mean, on the note of Relay, it is on March 21st, 2025, which you mentioned should be the 10-year anniversary of your diagnosis. So that's super moving. And going into this 10th year, what is sort of your vision for the future in terms of monitoring your health or just in general?
Awesome. Thank you so much for asking that, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm so honored to be celebrating my 10-year anniversary of my diagnosis at such an amazing event like Queen's Relay. That's honest dream come true. Like it's because it's after 10 years of experiencing this, it's a really big personal milestone. Like it's close to the heart, and so it's really meaningful to be able to celebrate that with a lot of other people. But as for the next 10 years, what the future holds, I've made an effort over the past, since the diagnosis, honestly, to make the most out of everything, and to have the chance to do ambassador type roles, give back to the causes that have shown myself and my family and people like me a lot of love. So like the Canadian Cancer Society, and having the chance to share my story at events like Relay, the whole ambassador role, gig, whatever, has been one of the most magical things from this whole journey. And having the chance to give back in whatever small way to this incredible cause, I intend on doing that for as long as I'm able to, and continue to support this foundation that means so much to myself, my family, my friends, and so many other people. So that's, hoping for the best in the future. We're fingers crossed. We'll keep an eye on medical things as we go. But I know for a fact that I want to keep this ambassador role up and continue to work alongside these incredible charities and organizations and have the chance to continue to work with causes that mean so much to myself personally. So I'm super excited. We'll looking forward to the next 10 years, and I'm overjoyed to be celebrating the 21st with you guys.
Oh, it's
an
an
honor
honor
It
to
is
have
such
you.
an
We're
honor.
really
We're
looking
so
forward
excited.
to it.
We're so excited for it.
Yeah.
Thanks, y'all.
Yeah.
Well, that's gonna clue up our interview for today. So thank you for watching, and thank you again, Jacob,
Thank you,
for coming.
Jacob.
We really appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Much appreciated. Thank you, everybody, for participating in Relay. It's going to be an unforgettable experience. It's such a magical event. And I want to thank you guys for giving me the chance to connect with Queen's Relay for Life and have the chance to come and attend on March 21st. So
We're
Like
Thank
Grace
you guys.
said, it's our honor. We're
yeah,
excited.
we're very excited.
thank you guys so much.
Of course.
Amazing to be able to chat with you guys.
Thanks.
Bye.
Thanks,
Bye, Emily. Thank you so much.
Love
We appreciate you. Yo, have yourself a wonderful day.
Make sure to get my good stuff.
Hell yeah. Boom. And my other good side. Come on
Yeah,
now.
there we go.
Boom.